Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, nestled between two misty mountains, there lived a parrot named Mithu. He wasn't just any ordinary parrot, he was known far and wide as the honest parrot. His feathers glistened with vibrant green, his beak shone like polished coral, and his voice carried the clarity of a ringing bell. But what made him truly special was his unwavering honesty. If you wanted to hear the truth, whether sweet or bitter, you could count on Mithu. Mithu lived in a large banyan tree near a river that sparkled under the morning sun. Every morning, the animals of the forest would gather around the tree. To hear Mithu speak, they would ask him questions, from curious children seeking stories to elders seeking guidance in disputes. And Mithu would always tell the truth, no matter how harsh or awkward it was. The forest began to cherish Mithu, and slowly he became a symbol of wisdom, trust, and justice. But as often happens with popularity, not everyone was fond of Mithu. Some animals began to fear his honesty. The foxes, especially, found his presence dangerous to their sly tactics. One day, a cunning old fox named Kalu decided it was time to teach Mithu a lesson. He believed that being too honest was just another form of foolishness. Kalu devised a plan. He spread rumors that Mithu had begun lying. "He no longer tells the truth," whispered Kalu to the deer. "Yesterday he said I stole a chicken, but I've never touched a chicken in my life," he cried with false tears in his eyes. The deer passed this on to the rabbits to the owls, and soon the forest was buzzing with doubt. Mithu, unaware of the growing suspicion, continued his routine. One day, a young leopard named Shara approached him, looking troubled. "Mithu," he said, "my friend Ronnie the squirrel says you accused her of stealing berries from the old bear. Is that true?" Mithu blinked. "Yes," he replied calmly. "I saw her myself. She took them while the bear was sleeping. She didn't mean harm, but it was still wrong." Shara looked angry. "Ronnie says she never did that. How can you accuse someone without proof?" "I am the proof," said Mithu softly. "I saw her. I would never—" Shara shook his head and walked away in silence. And so it continued day after day. Mithu spoke the truth, but more and more animals began to doubt him. Their trust, so easily built, began to crack like thin ice under the sun. One day, Kalu the fox approached the Council of Animals and declared, "We need to judge Mithu's honesty once and for all. Let us set a test. If he passes, we accept him again. If not, he must leave this forest." The council murmured in agreement. The test was simple. A golden mango, the rarest fruit in the forest, would be hidden. Only one animal would know where it was. Then Mithu would be brought in and asked to find it. If he guessed correctly, it would prove he had knowledge beyond tricks and luck. If not, he would be deemed a liar. The night before the test, Mithu sat silently under the moon, feeling the weight of injustice. He had done nothing wrong. He had never lied, never cheated, never misled, but now he was being judged. The next morning, the entire forest gathered. Even the wind seemed to pause in anticipation. A wise old tortoise named Bagat, neutral and slow, was chosen to hide the mango. He placed it beneath a pile of dry leaves near the eastern rocks, and only he knew the spot. Mithu was brought forth. "You have one chance," said the council leader. "Where is the golden mango?" Mithu looked around, calm and composed. He closed his eyes for a moment, not to guess, but to feel the honesty inside him. Then he spoke. "I do not know. I was not told, and I did not see, so I will not guess." The forest fell silent, then gasps echoed through the trees. "He refuses to answer," some cried. "He is afraid to be wrong," others whispered. Kalu smirked in the shadows. The council leader stepped forward. "You had one chance, and you refused. By the judgment of this forest, you must leave." Mithu looked around. "So you want me to lie? Would you rather I make a lucky guess than admit the truth? That I do not know?" His voice did not shake. "I have always spoken the truth, and I will not stop now, even if it costs me my home." With that, Mithu spread his wings and flew away. The forest grew quiet without him. At first, there was relief. The foxes grinned, the chatter stopped. But slowly, things began to change. Disputes increased. No one could be trusted. Lies spread faster than wind. The truth became something rare, mysterious, and deeply missed. One day, Bhagat the tortoise, now very old and sick, called the council. He cleared his throat and said, "The golden mango." It was beneath the eastern rocks. And Mithu told the truth that day. He didn't know, and he admitted it. That was not failure. That was honesty. Gasps filled the air. A heavy silence followed. The animals began to realize their mistake. They had wanted Mithu to perform, not speak truth. They had judged him not on integrity but on entertainment. Shame washed over them. Meanwhile, Mithu had found refuge in a faraway meadow, surrounded by simple creatures who asked him nothing but listened with love. He was older now, his feathers slightly dulled, but his spirit shone brighter than ever. He no longer needed crowds or applause. The quiet respect of the meadow's creatures was enough. One fine morning, a young rabbit from the forest appeared before him. "Mithu," she said, "the forest misses you. We made a mistake. We judged too fast. Will you come back?" Mithu looked into her eyes. He could see no deception, only regret and hope. He nodded gently. "I will return, not to be worshipped, not to be feared, but to remind all that truth is not always convenient, but it is always right." And so he returned. The forest welcomed him with lowered heads and open hearts. A stone was carved at the base of his banyan tree. It read, "Honesty is not about knowing everything. It is about admitting when you don't." From that day forward, Mithu never had to prove anything again. And when the wind rustled through the banyan leaves, the forest listened